support for Senator Sanders isn't about my fear of public speaking. It's rooted in joy and vision for a brighter future that we can achieve together. It's not about one person, but what we in unison can accomplish if we push through our fears for a happy future. A future where healthcare, housing, and basic human dignity are valued above the greed of a few. Let me tell you a little bit about how I landed here. In 2015, I was looking for a candidate with whom my values more closely aligned. I found Bernie's site and signed up to volunteer. A man named Tyler called me and asked me to come into the newly opened Carson office. I eventually did, and here was this young organizer in this little office, and I thought, I'm not doing anything, I'm gonna help him. And trust me, the more I helped, the more Tyler asked me to do. As I researched Senator Sanders' vision and long history of working towards that vision, the more I wanted to do. Bernie's vision was so pure and was out of such a place of love and of humanity that my children, who were 7 and 9 at the time, fell in love with Bernie too. He brought our whole family a feeling of hope we hadn't experienced in a long time, living through the Great Recession in Nevada. Truth is, like many Nevadans, the hardships we experienced during the recession have not ended. In fact, I just obtained health insurance for the first time in 5 years and found out that I was losing my vision and possibly would have if I had not spent $4,000 on a treatment which is now preventing me from receiving other much-needed medical and dental care. My commitment to Senator Sanders has not wavered since that day in 2015 because over his entire life, Senator Sanders has never stopped fighting for my family. Bernie may not have known about my gay son when he was mayor of Burlington and supported a pride parade in 1983 when the LGBTQI community was under attack, but he was fighting for us then. And he may not have known how much my family has suffered without Nevada state workers being able to collectively bargain when he sponsors bills giving workers a right to organize in their workplace, but he's fighting for my family. Bernie may not know every personal story, but he knows the struggles Americans face every day, and he has and will continue to fight for all of us, and my family will be right there with him. When Marguerite and Graham ask me how they are going to go to college when I have tens of thousands of student loan debt, when Graham's scared he won't be able to walk down the street with a boyfriend when he's older, or they are afraid they won't actually have a world to inhabit, I trust Bernie's history. I trust his consistency, and I know that if we do the work to get Senator Sanders elected, my children and all children will have the future we promised them when we brought them into this world, an America to believe in, full of beautiful possibilities. Now, let's give a warm Nevada welcome to the next President of the United States, Bernie Sanders!
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you all very much. Let me introduce from Burlington, Vermont, where it is a little bit cooler, my wife Jane, my daughter Karina. And this is a wonderful turnout, and I'm just delighted that all of you are here. You'll forgive me, I lost my voice somewhere in Colorado, I think. So I'm not going to be my usual loud self. I know, that's disappointing, but... and also, maybe I'm going to Instead of you asking me questions, I'll ask you a few questions. How's that? All right, I want to begin by telling you a little bit about what this campaign is about. And we are unique in what I am telling you. First of all, this is a campaign of the working class of America, by the working class of America, and for the working class of America. As I go all over the country, and I do go all over the country, I am finding that working people are sick and tired of being taken advantage and exploited by a corrupt corporate elite. So what I'm going to tell you is what other candidates don't talk about and what you don't see on corporate television. And that is that over the last 45 years, despite an explosion in technology and a huge increase in worker productivity, do you know how the average American worker is doing today compared to 45 years ago? Anybody know? Hasn't gained a nickel in real inflation accounted for dollars. Over the last 30 years, the top 1% in America have seen a $21 trillion increase in their wealth. Bottom half of America has seen a $900 billion decrease in their wealth. So the gap between the very, very wealthy and everybody else is growing wider. And today, unbelievably, in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, half of our people are living paycheck to paycheck. You all know what that means? Okay. I grew up in a family that lived paycheck to paycheck. I know a little bit about it. And what it means is if your car breaks down, if you're rich and your car breaks down, what's the problem? Take it into the mechanic, get it fixed, use your second car, use your third car, not a problem. But if you are living paycheck to paycheck and your car breaks down and you don't have the $500 you need to fix it, you can't get to work. And if you can't get to work, you may lose your job. And if you lose your job, you don't have an income to take care of your families. Unbelievably, we have over 25% of the people in America are paying 50% of their limited incomes for rent. We have tonight in America 500,000 people sleeping out on the streets, including over 30,000 veterans in this country. In America today, we have 87 million Americans who are either uninsured or underinsured. And let me underline the word underinsured because we don't talk about it very often. What underinsured means is you may have insurance, but it really doesn't mean much because you can't afford the out-of-pocket costs or the co-payments you need to get into a doctor's office when you should. The result of that is that 30,000 Americans die every single year because they don't get to a doctor on time. Now, last night, I don't know if anybody here saw the debate. And it was interesting. But one of the things that disturbed me in the debate is I look forward to a serious discussion about the healthcare crisis in America. But I was not pleased that Vice President Biden distorted what Medicare for All is, and in fact simply parroted the line coming from the healthcare industry. All right, so I want to spend a minute telling you what Medicare for All is. Apparently, the Vice President thinks that it is just wonderful for people to be paying $1,000 a month, $500 a month in premiums. That's just great. Paying Having the deductible of $4,000, $5,000 or more, not a problem. Paying the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs, not a problem. Well, I think those are problems. So let me tell you, what Medicare for All is, and it's not really a terribly radical idea because in one form or another it exists in countries all over the world, including Canada. I live about 50 miles away from the Canadian border. So what does it mean? It means that if you get sick and you go to the doctor, you go to any doctor you want. So if anybody tells you that Medicare for All will limit your choice of doctors, they are not telling you the truth. The truth is that under the current system, many people are not covered for the doctors they want to go to because they're not within their insurance program, not in their network, and they have to pay out of pocket to get to the doctor that they want. So Medicare for All gets you to any doctor you want. It is comprehensive, covering all, let me underline the word all, basic health care needs. Medicare right now, as you know, is for seniors, people 65 or older. We expand Medicare to cover what Medicare today does not cover, and that is dental care. My impression is that I know in Vermont and all over this country, dental care, affordable dental care is an issue. Is that a big issue in Nevada? Okay. It covers hearing aids, and it covers eyeglasses, and it covers home health care. So it is very broad coverage, and you don't take out your wallet or your credit card when you go to the doctor. There are no premiums, no deductibles, no out-of-pocket expenses, no co-payments. It is funded out of the general tax base in a progressive way. So what does that mean in English? Is it free? No, of course it's not free. But what you should all know, and I try to make this point every speech that I give, in the United States, we spend twice as much per person on health care as do the people of any other country. All right? We spend almost $11,000 for every man, woman, and child. That's twice what they spend in Canada and in most European countries. All right? Why are we spending so much money on healthcare in the United States and have so many people uninsured or underinsured? Who has a thought on that? All right. What is the function of the American healthcare system right now? All right. What it is primarily is to make profits for the insurance companies and the drug companies. I think most people understand that. Last year, the top 10 drug companies made $69 billion in profit. You got that? Some of you may know that last month I took a trip from Detroit, Michigan to Windsor, Ontario with a number of people in the Midwest who were diabetic. We went to Ontario in order to purchase insulin. Anybody here know the differential in price for insulin in Canada compared to the United States? 1/10 the price. All right. So the drug companies charge you 10 times more here in the United States because not only are they greedy, they are corrupt and they engage in price fixing. So they charge us 10 times more than the Canadians, and that is true for all kinds of drugs. One of the other aspects of Medicare for All is that nobody in America under Medicare for All will pay more than $200 a year for the prescription drugs that they need. So how are we able to do this? The reason is two reasons. Number one, we're going to eliminate the $100 billion a year in profit that the health industry makes and the huge compensations that they give to the CEOs of their companies. That's number one. And number two, we're going to eliminate some $500 billion in administrative cost. The problem with the current system, and which why it is so very expensive, is you got hundreds and hundreds of separate insurance policies out there. Your deductible is $3,000. Yours is $6,000. Your policy covers this medicine. Your policy covers that medicine. Your copayment is X. Your copayment is Y. Your premium is $1,000 a month. Your premium is $500 a month. You have hundreds and hundreds of separate programs that doctors and hospitals have got to administer, and to administer that requires a huge bureaucratic infrastructure. We eliminate that. And what you do is you walk in, you take out your card, go to any doctor you want, and it is paid for out of the general tax base. And at the end of the day, and here's the important point that I want to make, for the overwhelming majority of the American people who will no longer have to pay premiums, no out-of-pocket expenses, no co-payments, for the overwhelming majority of the American people, you will be paying less for health care than you are today. All right, let me ask some of you, tell me about healthcare. What's your experience with healthcare? Are there people you know who cannot afford to go to the doctor? All right, ma'am, do you want to talk about that for a bit? All right, get up here. Let's get her a mic. Do we have a mic? Staff, do we got a mic here? All right, you take my mic for the moment.
Okay, I have an autoimmune disease called psoriasis that also leads to arthritis. And I have been in and out of work and on disability 3 times in the last 5 years. I have lost my job. I am on Medi-Cal because I am a California resident because I have a low income. But because of that, I have to travel to Sacramento to go to the doctor. I have had huge lapses in getting the right treatment, and when I do not take the medicine that I need, my skin basically turns into tissue paper. I can't move, I can't walk, I can't. Sleeping is the only thing I can do because the minute I wake up, I'm in pain. And there's no reason for it. It's one of those things where, and I go to the regular clinic and I have a different doctor every 6 months and I have to start all over again. And with that, it's not consistent care. I don't have any way of knowing that I'm gonna stay in remission and knowing that I can keep my job. And I don't even have a job that is good enough to offer me health care. Thank you.
Thank you. One of the lies about Medicare for All is that people just love their private insurance companies. Anybody here love your private insurance companies? I don't think so. And the problem right now is that when you lose your job, okay, you lose, in many instances, your health insurance. One of the strengths of Medicare for All, whether you're working, whether you're not working, whether you are in transition, you will always have the health care that you need. And what that also means is that there are in this country millions of people who are at a job today not because they want to be at that job, not because they like that job. They're at that job because it provides decent health insurance for their families. People should not have to stay at a job just because it provides good health insurance. Okay, I'll get to you in a second if you can wait. Okay, yeah, I know. I'll get to you if you can get out of the way. I want to talk to Jen.
I'm a Navy veteran. I served 20 years. I served in Iraq. I'm sorry, not Iraq, but Kuwait liberation, and I served in '95 in Somalia. I saved lives. I was a Navy corpsman. We take care of our own, except now. My TRICARE is not acceptable anymore. They took it away. And they claimed that there was no TRICARE here in Carson City. Told me that I have to go to Dayton to somebody I've never even heard of. I have Huntington's disease. I'm in stage 4. I can barely take care of myself, and I do not have the energy to fight these people. And every time I get on the phone with them, they piss me off, and I can't deal with them. And I was supposed to be given free health care for life for being a veteran for 20 years. And this is what they've done. They've taken away my TRICARE for life that was coming, the deductions were coming out of my check automatically, and somehow they managed to screw it up. And when you try to tell them how it works here, and that I was, the Carson Medical Group was part of TRICARE, they told me I was full of shit.
John, let me ask you this. John just gave me this, John Weigel. John, I'm looking at a bill, and it says account balance $139,000. What is that about? Hold it, get the mic to John.
It's because somehow, after the fact, they claim that my TRICARE, I chose to end it, which I didn't. It was coming out of my check, as part of my allotment that was set up in 2003 when I first retired from the military after doing 20 years. And so now they're saying that, I didn't re-sign or do something or something.
How are you going to pay off?
I can't. I'm going to kill myself.
Hold on, John, stop it. You're not going to kill yourself. All right,
I can't deal with this. I have Huntington's disease. Do you know how hard that is? You probably don't, do you? I can't drive. I can barely take care of myself.
All right, let's chat later at the end of the meeting, okay? Okay. I wish that I could say that what John just described is unique and that he is the only person in America who undergoes that, but it's not. All right, so John, we'll talk about it after the meeting and we'll see what we can do about it. All right, I want to hear more about people's experience with the healthcare system that some of my colleagues claim is the best in the world. Thoughts? Okay, sir. Yep, get him a mic. You got a mic right there? Your name, please?
My name is Bill Herron.
Bill?
I work for Pep Boys. Pep Boys left Carson City. I had medical coverage under them. All right. Once they left, I lost my medical coverage. I was told to go to the welfare office and apply for welfare so that I didn't get fined under the Obamacare. Once I tried to apply for that, I was denied because I was told my wife made too much money at $15 an hour. So then I was without. And I got fined. Now, what is it you're going to do to change this?
Ain't no fines. You're covered. You're an American?
No, I'm not covered.
On the Medicare.
My wife just lost her job right now 3 days ago, and we are now without insurance.
Bill is your name?
Yes.
Bill. Medicare for all covers every man, woman, and child in this country. Right now, people 65 years of age or older are covered by Medicare. What we are going to do is expand the coverage of Medicare over a 4-year period. How old are you?
56.
Okay, you would be in the first tranche. First year goes from 65 down to 55. You have comprehensive health care. Next year, 45. next year 35, next year everybody. That's Medicare for all. And you don't have to worry whether you lost your job or not. Ain't a radical idea. This goes on in countries all over the world. Do you know what I mean when I say that healthcare is a human right? A human right. Whether you're working, whether you're not, whether you're rich or whether you're poor. That's what I am fighting for.
Okay, this all sounds great in theory,
Yeah.
but not a one of us in here have ever seen this
Okay.
go on yet, and nothing has been done about our medical or
All
our
right,
health
Bill?
care yet.
Okay, 1 second. All right, you said the first thing you said, you've never seen this. Yes, is that what you said?
We have never seen
Okay,
anything,
Bill.
and it has not been done yet.
Bill, it is being done all over the country. I live 50 miles away from Canada. If you are a Canadian citizen right now and you have a heart transplant, okay, a big operation, you with me? You're in the hospital for a month. Do you know what your bill is when you come out? It's nothing. Bill, you may not have seen it. It goes on all over the world. We are the exception to the rule. Do you think that in Germany, in France, in the UK, people tell stories like what John just said? It doesn't happen. The function of the healthcare system now is to make billions in profits for the drug companies and the insurance companies. I intend to change
Now,
that.
why isn't anybody up in the legislature or the senators doing anything over trying to limit what pharmaceuticals or hospitals
Good question.
can charge anybody out
Good.
here?
And what's the answer?
Why are they not doing
You tell me
anything
the
to
answer.
put a limit on this?
You tell me the answer.
If I knew the answer,
No, you know the answer. Tell me the answer. Give me the mic. You're a smart guy. Give me the answer.
because nobody cares about what
No,
goes on with
wrong
all
answer.
the Americans.
Give me the other answer. The other answer is, hold it. Bill asked a great question. Great question. I should have mentioned it earlier. Bill, over the last 20 years, do you know how much money the pharmaceutical industry has spent on lobbying and campaign contributions?
Billions.
$4 billion. That's your answer to your question.
There's billions. Okay, but when money starts taking over
Yes.
the healthcare and everybody out here, the American citizen, when every politician starts thinking about their pocket
Okay.
rather than all the lives out here and all these lives that are either hurting like me, like this man right here,
Yep.
then guess what? We have a problem.
All right. Come here.
We have a
Come
problem.
here. Come here, man. All right. All right. Look, Bill raises the right questions. All right. And all that I'm asking you is to work with me to tell the drug companies and the insurance companies that the function of healthcare is to provide quality care to all of these people and not to make billions for themselves. You work with me on that? Okay.
his wife, we were out in the Hebrides out on the islands, and he was telling me that his wife was being treated for cancer. And he said, you know, we have socialized medicine and we have socialized education. Do you know why? And I said, no. And he said, because we care about each other. Why should any person have to go on for years with excruciating pain because they can't afford to go to the doctor? They can't afford to get medicine. Why should any child who has high ambitions or really intelligent child, why should that child not be able to go to school?
All right, let me ask you, I'm sorry, your first name is?
Nancy.
Nancy. Nancy, your friend is dealing with cancer right now?
She passed away.
I'm sorry to hear that. But how much did the care that you get cost her family?
Nothing.
Okay, you got that? Scotland? This is true. All countries around the world have slightly different systems. I'm kind of looking at the Canadian system and building on that. The British and Scottish have a different system. But let me repeat it for the 10th time. This is the only major country on earth where people have to go through what John is going through, what Bill is going through. This is the only country on earth. I want you to deal with this one for a moment. You're not feeling well, you walk into the doctor's office. Doctor says, I have some bad news for you, you have cancer. Your head is spinning, right? You give a terrible diagnosis, you gotta be thinking, what doctor do I go to, what treatment do I need? If I miss work, what kind of income is coming into the house, right? You got all these things. What is chemotherapy gonna do to me? And then on top of all of that, you suddenly gotta deal with, how much is this treatment gonna cost me, all right? And the answer is that in America today, 500,000 people a year go bankrupt because of medical bills. Can you deal with that insanity? You're diagnosed with cancer, and you gotta go bankrupt. What crime did you commit? You're dealing with a terrible illness. Your job is to get yourself back on the ground, to get your feet on the ground, figure out how you can get well. When I was up in Canada a couple of years ago, I'll never forget this. They were very nice to me. I went into one of their major hospitals, and a patient was willing to see me. And I walked in there, and he said, you know, I just came through major surgery. And unlike my friends in the United States, all I gotta do is worry about how I get well. I'm walking out of this hospital without a nickel in debt. Okay, and then the doctor is there, and he says, you know what else? I treat this patient in the best way possible. I don't have to deal with an insurance company who tells me what I can and cannot do. All right? So, all that I want to say is this is not a complicated debate. On one side, you have an industry that made $100 billion in profits. They will spend as much as it takes to defeat what I am trying to do. There will be ads all over Nevada telling you how terrible I am and how terrible Medicare for all is. Understand who is paying for those ads and why they are doing it. Okay. You got a mic here?
Senator, several decades ago, my wife was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. The medication that was prescribed for her was $4,000 a month. I remember, because I grew up in the state next to yours in New York, that you had taken some women to Canada. And I said to my wife, I said, you know what, we need to do a little research about medication for you from Canada. So we started getting those pills from Canada for 3 months for $90. Why can we not, in America, treat people with respect and not rob them blind?
The first thing is, Larry, Look, Larry said it better than I do. Let me be very clear. And TV cameras, quote me on this one, all right? The pharmaceutical industry is not only extraordinarily greedy, they are corrupt and they are involved in massive amounts of price fixing. Okay? There is no reason, Larry, except for this fact. The fact is that right now, the drug companies can raise their price to any level they want because they have bought the United States Congress. In Canada, you can't do it. In the UK, France, Germany, you can't do it. Prices are regulated. That is why in Canada, and by the way, if you go to Canada, they'll say, our drug prices are too high. I know you're laughing. Compared to ours, it's a joke, all right? Now, just think about the pharmaceutical industry for a moment. Some of you have been following the lawsuits that states' attorneys general have been waging against Purdue and Johnson & Johnson regarding opioids. Here's what you got. These drug companies basically have agreed to pay billions of dollars in fines because they knowingly were selling a product that they knew was addictive and was killing people. In other words, they were drug pushers. Somebody here says, lock them up. No, we don't do that. They are rich and powerful. I'm sorry. Clearly, you do not understand the criminal justice system in America. But the point is, if I'm not mistaken, and I haven't been following it every day, but you raise an interesting question. Purdue and Johnson & Johnson will be paying, and they're still working out the details, but it looks like they will be paying many billions of dollars in fines for knowingly selling an addictive drug. Okay, 1 second. You would think that if somebody was paying billions of dollars in fines, there would be a criminal charge against them. See if there is. Same thing with Wall Street. All of you remember 11 years ago. Nevada remembers it very well. You guys got hit as hard as any state in the country. You had the crooks on Wall Street selling products that they knew were phony, okay, that were worthless. And they crashed the entire economy. Wall Street in the last 10 years has paid out tens and tens and tens of billions of dollars in fines. Anybody remember how many folks went to jail? Meanwhile, you got some kid selling marijuana, and that kid is in jail. That is why we need to change a very broken criminal justice system. So what this campaign is about, and I say to you very sincerely, I know everybody who's running in the Democratic primary. And many of them are friends of mine, and I believe they're honest and good people. But what makes this campaign different is we are running not just to win here in Nevada, and with your help, we are going to win here in Nevada. We are running not just to win the Democratic nomination. With your help, we're going to do that. And we are running to defeat not just the most dangerous president in modern American history. We are doing something different. All right, let me be very honest with you. And I'm the only candidate running that will tell you this. The message of our campaign is us, not me. What does that mean? It means two things. And I can't remember, I think it was Larry who said it. What it is, we are not like Trump, who thinks that the function of life is to lie and to cheat and to steal and then to make billions of dollars for yourself and turn your backs on ordinary people. We all understand that to be human is to care for each other. All right, that's to be human. And that is what being an American, that's what being American. John put his life on the line to defend us. All right? But it's not just John as a veteran, it is all of us as Americans, as human beings. We protect each other. And that's why Nancy said, what Nancy said when she was speaking is in Scotland they were talking about caring about each other. That's what Nancy said. And we need a government that does that. But the second point that I want to make when I say, and I talk about us, not me, and here's something that you will not see on television. You won't see it in the corporate media. And that is that no president, not Bernie Sanders or anybody else, can do it alone. Because we are taking on people and institutions with unbelievable amounts of wealth and power. All right? You want to take on the pharmaceutical industry? We are going to take them on. But I cannot do it alone. We need millions of people standing up. And the reason for that is all of you know who have studied history, real change never takes place from the top on down. It is always from the bottom on up. So what this campaign is about is bringing millions of people together, not only to help elect me as president, but to tell Wall Street, to tell the insurance companies, the drug companies, the fossil fuel industry, the prison industrial complex, the military industrial complex, and the whole damn 1%. That they will no longer be running this country. So, for the sake of my voice and the fact that we've got to get to Reno, what I'd like to do now, if it's okay with you, if anybody would like to come up and do a selfie, we'd love to do it. Anybody want to do that? Okay, let's do it. Thank you all very much.
Okay, so we're going to form a line. See the guy over there with his hand up? The guy right over there with the suit jacket and his hand up. Go form a line with him.